Before we get into this week's bees, Steve and I went for a walk down at Covehithe. When Steve first started out in agriculture and was just a boy, these were some of the fields he used to plough and look after. Standing here now, it's hard to believe just how much things have changed. The sea has slowly claimed parts of the coastline over the years, and the fields Steve remembers being there simply aren't anymore. What used to be farmland is now part of the beach below. It was strange hearing Steve talk about the places he knew so well as a young man and seeing what they look like today. It's a reminder that the countryside is always changing. Seasons come and go, crops are planted and harvested, coastlines shift. And all we can really do is appreciate these places while we have them. Anyway, enough of Sunday strolls. Let's get back to the bees. I'm at the home sweet home apiary. It's been a little while, well I think since last week since I've been here because it's just been so wet. Everything's grown. I'm going to have to trim round all my apiaries I think, so that will be on the list of jobs this week. So yeah, I've just come here just because I'm going to feed the nukes again because like I say it's been a week, and I'm going to have a look on that nuke that we made a split of last week, see how that's doing. I might move them into a hive because they seem to be just building up so quickly. What else am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to check all my nukes. And I think there's a couple that I weren't sure whether the queen was mated properly and if they're turned into drone layers. So I'm going to check them, and if they are drone layers then I'll shake them out. So that's the plan for here. Have a look at this one over here because this one I was unsure about. Nothing going on in the feeder. Right, so there you've got to be shaken out. Sometimes you got to shake them out. It seems a bit mean, but at least the bees that are in there will find a home in one of these other nukes, and then it will help build them up. When if you just let them sit there, basically they'll just all die. So shaking them out at least gives them a chance to find another home, and then they will live there. This is the split that we did last week, so I'm going to have a look at them and see how they're getting on. I'm just setting up a hive next door to them because I'm fed up with them being on the floor. It wrecks my back. So I'm going to see if they're strong enough to put into a hive, and then I'm going to put them on a proper stand so I don't have to keep leaning over every time I look inside. This was the foundation we gave them last week, and they've drawn it out both sides. Look at that, all that brood, both sides. There's her beauty. These bees are hungry. Look, you can see how hungry they are on the lid straight away. Right, so the queen is really good, but she's just laying everything up really quickly. And because we've had wet weather, the bees haven't been able to get out to go and get any nectar. And they've eaten all their stores because there's so many eggs and larvae in there, and now they're starving. So look, you can see here all the bees are now starting to go out on the front of the hive, and they'll let all the bees know that are coming back from foraging where the queen is. So they'll start letting them know. They're just figuring out the entrance because it is an underfloor entrance and it does take them a little time. And then what I've done is I've put the nuke box, moved that round, so the bees, even though I did give it a bang out, the bees will still go back there. But they'll soon figure out that the queen is in the new hive, and they'll all go in a little bit. I could not sleep last night. I was really worried about the nuke that I'd moved into the hive, and I know I gave them feed, but they haven't got many stores at all, and I was really worried that they were going to be hungry. So I popped back. I've got a frame of stores that I've taken out of my freezer last night, and I'm going to give them that. So hopefully they'll have enough stores then. I have a love-hate relationship with bramble. As soon as your back's turned, it grows, but yet the bees love it and I need it. You might remember these from a couple of months ago. I started them from seed and they're finally ready to be potted on. The hope is that later on in the year I have my very own homegrown chilies to make some hot honey with. Yes, sugar, I'm just as surprised as you are that I haven't managed to kill these yet. Hot honey is basically honey infused with chilies. People seem to put it on everything these days. Pizza, fried chicken, cheese, the list goes on. I'd really like to have a go at making some with our own honey and these homegrown chilies. And who knows, I might even experiment with a few other infused honeys in the future as well. I'm not going to say too much here because I let the pea viners do the talking, but I get very excited when I get to spend the day with Stephen on the pea viners. He's now in his 15th year of doing this, and there's something very special about being out in the Suffolk countryside, the sound of the big machinery and the smell of freshly harvested peas.